Premier League predictions, round 38.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions for the final round of Premier League predictions for this season. The season that seemed like it was never ever going to end finally does. As always, we put timestamps down in the description so you can jump ahead to certain matches that you want to see. You can also do that on the chapters feature on the YouTube video itself. But do yourself a favour, you don't want to be doing that. You want to sit down and just watch and soak it all in of all the knowledge and wisdom that myself and Thomas are going to impart on yourselves. And without further ado, or wasting any time, but to waste time a little bit, stick around to the end of the video because Tom will give you a shout out. Nothing but professionalism here, folks. I never forget a trick. Let's jump in to that first match.
Arsenal versus Watford.
Oh my God, Thomas. Oh my God. Only Arsenal, and I think only Arsenal, could do this in a week where they beat Liverpool in the league, they beat Manchester City in the FA Cup, and then they go and play the easiest side of the three in Aston Villa and absolutely put in a garbage performance and lose by a goal to nil. Fair play to Villa. They definitely were the ones that needed the win, and we'll talk about them when we get to Villa. But yeah, this was a turgid Arsenal performance. This is more like the Arsenal that we saw under Wenger, under Emery, just slow passing all in front of the back four. Just meant Villa could just put banks of four in front of the goalie, and it was very, very easy. Arsenal really struggled to get in behind, and it just made me think a little bit about Arsenal as whether they're going to have the same problems that like Man United did, of like when they play the top sides, they've got a game plan of how to beat the top sides, but now when they play the lower sides, they're going to struggle to break them down, because that's what it certainly looks like. And that is the next sort of piece of the puzzle that Arteta's going to have to work on, because this is the worst Premier League finish for something like 25 years for Arsenal. So it has not been a good season, no matter how much you try and dress up an FA Cup final. It's been a poor year for the Gunners. And, going into this one, they'll want to finish the season strong after that defeat to Aston Villa, but Watford are going to be a similar side that want to beat them. Watford usually try and go and bully Arsenal. That's a Troy Deeney tactic 101. I think he said that even before on commentary, that he thinks Arsenal are a bit soft. Yeah. But I am going to back the Gunners. I am going to back the Gunners to win. One, because I want them to win, and two, because I want Bournemouth to try and stay up. And I am going to say Arsenal will beat Watford by 2-0.
Right, Ian, I'm going to talk to you about a bigger dumpster fire than Arsenal Football Club. That's right, Watford. A team that at Christmas was bottom of the table and something like 8 points adrift have now sacked their manager, who's won 7 matches after in the first 15 games with a different manager, they'd won 1. That's right, Watford sacked their manager because apparently their team has no heart and were promptly thrashed by Man City 4-0. I think everyone saw that scoreline coming. You had 3-0, I had 5-0. It seems that sacking Nigel Pearson makes no difference when you play Man City, because it's Man City. And yeah, this Watford side, now there's all these allegations of like fighting in the dressing room and Troy Deeney getting in punch-ups, and it's just great. It's just great, because they sound like they should be like a top-level side, but they're Watford. And I think they're going to lose this game as well. I'm not going to talk about Arsenal. Everyone knows my feelings on them. You don't have to listen to them. I'm sure we'll talk about them in the off-season, and I'll just go run roughshod on them. But I think they'll win this 3-1.
Burnley versus Brighton, and Hove and Albion.
So Ian, I managed to watch one of the golden handshakes of the weekend. That's right, I watched Brighton play out to one of the most boring 0-0 draws in recorded history with Newcastle United. They were in control and pressing the Newcastle side, and they looked full of gumption. But they, in fact, offered very little going forward. Neil Maupay just likes to shoot. Trossard seems like a waste of space most of the time, except when he gets these odd goals. And, Brighton have done well. They've survived. They've got 37 points. They've done really well since the break. And they've got nothing to play for in this game. Burnley are really trying to push up the table. I don't know what happened. Sean Dyche has clearly instilled some steel, some graft, some concrete into their willpower, and they've had a really good end to the year. As such, I think they're going to win this game. 2-1.
I fell into the trap last week, Tom, of thinking Burnley can score more than 2 goals. They couldn't even do it. against a 9-man Norwich side. A Norwich side! And you couldn't even get that third goal. Down you, Burnley. But that is probably the worst thing I've got to say about Burnley is they can't get 3 goals when I want them to get 3 goals because they've been excellent. They've been in really good form. Bright and these are 2 sides that have done really well actually. Since we've come back from the break, and I don't really see there's too much more to talk about it. I think Burnley will nick it as well. I think it'll be a 1-0 win for Burnley.
Chelsea versus Wolverhampton Wanderers.
This is a fun game to finish on the season, Tom, isn't it? On the last day of the season. Chelsea and Wolves, both of them still need some points. Chelsea probably more than Wolves at this stage, just to finally cement that Champions League place. Wolves, it looks like a little bit of a bridge too far, maybe to get a guaranteed European place. It looks like they'll be relying on... Well, actually, no, it will extend, won't it? Because Chelsea and Arsenal... If Chelsea win the FA Cup, then they could get a Europa League place. Then,
7th place would be a Europa League place.
Yeah, so they're relying on things elsewhere now. Also, they still got the Europa League themselves. They had a great win last time out. If ever you doubt that they are an excellent side, they just go and pull out like really good solid performances and just prove what a great side they are. And I expect this one to be a really good game as well, and it's not going to be easy or a fun one for Chelsea to have on the last day of the season, and I think they're really going to be pushed, but I do think Chelsea are just going to nick it, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 Chelsea win.
Oh, Ian, you're not living enough. It's clearly going to be 3-2 to Chelsea. This is going to be a cracker of a game. Chelsea have just played.
When did Chelsea ever have exciting games, Thomas? You name me one they've had in the past year.
Most certainly the one that just finished about 3 minutes ago wasn't exciting at all. My God, what an absolutely nuts game against Liverpool. Chelsea looked totally out of it. They're down 3-0 at halftime, right? And they just come back, and yet again, it's Captain America and Christian Pulisic just having the most ridiculous half of football. Had a great game. Willian looked good. Obviously, Giroud got a goal because who knew? World Cup winner Olivier Giroud was good in front of goal.
Yeah, but Abraham would have got 2.
Abraham did get 1. I mean, the whole Chelsea thing of not wanting to play Giroud is out there. Like, he's clearly the best target man they've got. He's just basically Karim Benzema, but he plays in blue instead of white. But a really great game, and they still can't defend, but they can also be really good in attack. So they're going to beat Wolves 3-2.
When Chelsea play away, they play in white. Anyway, Thomas, for the final time this season, you've got to watch out, because the Eagles are coming. Because it's Crystal Palace versus Tottenham Hotspur.
So, Ian, it's time to talk about a man. A great man. A man who's achieved great things. He once took Man United to 2nd in the Premier League. That is an achievement. Yes. No, Jurgen Klopp. No. It's Jose Mourinho. Spurs, to end the season, have been on absolute fire, and yet whenever you watch them, it doesn't feel like they're on fire. You're watching them, and you're like, and then they win, and you're like, oh, cool. And that's what Jose Mourinho does. He sets up teams, and they just kind of grind out these results, and you're never that impressed. But they've been pretty good, and they've got Harry Kane, they've got Son Heung-min, heinous leg breaker that he is. And they're going to really want to go for this at the end of the season, right? They're in 7th. They'll be hoping for Europa League play, but they'll be hoping to overtake Wolves and guarantee it in this game. And I think they're going to go out there and they're going to beat Palace, Crystal Palace. Just, they got nothing to play for at the end of the year. Their fans aren't happy. The only person who seems to have any idea what's going on is poor Roy. So I've got a Spurs victory here. I think they'll win this game 2-0.
Nothing to play for. They've had nothing to play for ever since they beat Bournemouth on that first weekend back after lockdown. They've been completely out to lunch ever since. They should be well rested for the start of the next season because they've had a huge long break compared to the rest of the teams. I'm sure Roy Hodgson is going to look around in the dressing room and realise that these are imposters of his Crystal Palace side and the real players have just fucked off to all on their holidays really early because it's been a dreadful run that would have happened at any other time of the season. The fans would start be calling for Roy Hodgson's head. But because of that, they've done the job. This is a period that doesn't really matter for them. And I think it's going to be another defeat for Palace, unfortunately. A really, really, really long run of defeats for them. Poor end to the season, but I also think Spurs will win. I even think Spurs might even get one more. I'm going 3-0 Tottenham. Although 2-0 is the classic Jose score.
It's his favourite. But now we move on because it's Everton hosting AFC Bournemouth.
It's D-Day, it's Judgment Day, it's whatever you want to call it, Thomas. How do you possibly see Eddie Howe staying up? Because that's the story here. Who cares about Everton?
Firstly, no one cares about Everton. It's not even worth talking about their most recent game, which was somehow a victory over Sheffield United side that can be ball turning up. But Bournemouth, man, like, what do they have to do to get a win to end the season? It has been awful for them. They put the ball in the back of the net and a bloke is offside. And he's offside. Like, he is. He is a foot and a half offside. But, like, oh, Eddie!
Still got a chance, haven't they? Still got a chance.
Yeah, and I mean, they're really lucky in that Watford have been terrible, but then Arsenal have just gone out and they've lost to freaking Aston Villa. Now you're like, well, I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm just going to give my prediction, Ian. I am an Eddie Howe lover, a supporter. I believe in this man. He will take us to the promised land. And Bournemouth will get a victory here. They will beat Everton 4-0.
Wow. I don't see it being 4-0, but I am going to go with heart over head in this one as well and back Bournemouth to win. And it's just Everton. Yeah, I mean, they beat Sheffield United 1-0, but that's just like what they've been doing. It's like they've had good results and then they turn up against Tottenham and they're dreadful. And it's just... You've got a squad of players there that should be doing much better, and I'm sure next season they will be more consistent if Ancelotti's allowed to bring in the players he wants to bring in. But, you know, in this one, I've just got to hope that it is a bad performance for Everton and Bournemouth come in and do a job on them, and I'm going for Everton 1, Bournemouth 3.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so goals. There will be 4 goals no matter what. Well, Bet over 3 goals.
Bournemouth can't die wandering in this game, can they? They've got to go.
No.
I don't think the goal that defeat with Man City against Watford hasn't meant that the goal difference is too bad for them to overcome.
-27 each.
And Villa aren't too far away now, are they? As well?
Villa are -26.
Yeah, so it's very close. So they don't need to go goal crazy at the start, but they do need to. They don't want to end the game like drawing 0-0 or something like that. They've got to at some point put the foot down and go for it. And let's just hope that they do.
Yes. But that leads us in to West Ham United hosting Aston Villa Football Club.
Another D-Day, isn't it? Another D-Day for Aston Villa. I mean, they've done excellently. They've had a great little end to the season there. 2 wins and a draw, I think, out of the last 3 games. Yeah. Excellent win over Arsenal. Fully deserved it. Got a goal and then defended manfully. I mean, that's. It seems like they've been quite resolute in a lot of the games this season, or since the lockdown. They've just struggled scoring, and maybe Dean Smith finally found a little bit of magic. I mean, this Trezeguet was the match winner against Arsenal. He was also really the match winner against Crystal Palace as well, and they were unlucky against Everton. That was a game they should have won as well. They will be hoping that this West Ham side is fully relaxed and feet up, knowing that they cannot be relegated. It's going to be a difficult one. I do want Bournemouth to stay up, but I think Villa are going to get something out of this game. I think it's going to be a draw. I think this one's going to be 1-1.
I'm going to go for a West Ham 2-0 victory, but this is 100% heart over head.
Hey, I'll just say West Ham have also been excellent in the last few weeks as well.
And they've ended the season really well. They had a 1-1 draw with United, which they definitely deserved. They played well for it, but...
Well, Man U picked 2 goalkeepers. Paul Pogba obviously thought he was in goal in the first half.
That's not even...
But Mikel Antonio, Tom, 8 goals, 6 games.
He's been nuts. I mean, 4 of them came in 1, but good lord.
So? No swan song for David Moyes,
no witty repartee. I got nothing.
Okay.
Manchester City versus Norwich City.
Oh, I think this one's going to be a quick one as well, isn't it? I mean, Manchester City, whenever you watch them, they dominate every game they play. How have they lost so many games? So this one, I've got Norwich all day long in this one, who are going to do the double over Man City this season. No, not really. Man City, 5-0.
Right. I better go 4-0 in that case. Norwich, you're going to turn up. You're going to kick the ball around for about 10 minutes of this. And in the 10 minutes you have it, it will look good. You'll get nowhere near scoring.
Will be.
Every time you go to defend, you'll concede.
Norwich will have a chance at 0-0.
Yeah.
And then City will just run roughshod over them. And they'll just look back and go, if we'd have taken that chance, could have been a completely different game.
They've already signed 2 players on their way down to the championship. But yeah, City are going to win 4-0. They were in very good form, winning 4-0 against Watford. It was almost 5, but an offside goal. Norwich were obviously beaten 2-0, had 2 men sent off against Burnley, but Burnley cannot score more than 2 goals. Therefore, it stayed at that. We will move along because it's time for the chosen one. Steve Bruce's Newcastle United are going to host Premier League champions, Liverpool Football Club.
That is right, Thomas. Premier League champions Liverpool, who have lifted that trophy aloft finally after beating Chelsea in an excellent game, as you talked about earlier on. Some of the goals in that game were incredible. Alexander-Arnold's free kick was masterful. Just brilliant.
The cross, isn't it? It's an Arnold cross for the Firmino header, which I think is his first goal at home this season. He's
done a really stupid record like that, Firmino. But I did also enjoy the fireworks going off during the game in the second half. That was actually really cool. And also, you did miss out that they are European champions and world champions as well. But they are coming up against the greatest manager in Premier League history and indeed in the world.
I'm yawning now. I'm yawning.
You can yawn now, Thomas. Who has guided his Newcastle side to safety. I've talked enough about Steve Bruce. I'm not going to bore you anymore. But he is the second coming of an ex-Liverpool great, Kevin Keegan.
I will love it if we beat
Who I'm not sure he would love it if his Newcastle side beat Liverpool. But let's just... And because of that one reason, I'm clutching at straws. I'm going to say Liverpool will beat the Geordies, and it will be Newcastle 0, Liverpool 2.
Ian, honestly, that entire speech just sounded like the ravings of a madman. I tried to follow it.
I genuinely got nothing else to say. He's done all right, but they've just been Newcastle, haven't they?
They've really been Newcastle.
You draw a line between 10th and 15th in the Premier League. Newcastle.
They're there. They're literally there. In fact, Roy Hodgson has probably sat there really confused how his Crystal Palace team are below them, because he must just be like, what the fuck happened? But yeah, Newcastle, 44 points, 13th in the league. Well done. You're going to lose 3-0 to Liverpool.
Southampton versus Sheffield United.
I managed to watch the Bournemouth versus Southampton game, and I will state that I think Nathan Redmond has the least end product of any player in the Premier League. Like, whenever he gets on the ball, it looks so exciting, and he can move so quickly, and he, like, drives forward, and then the cross is shit, or the shot is shit.
What about Mopé? We've said about Mopé all season.
Okay, so he's got the second least end product of any player in the Premier League. Like, Nathan Redmond is just, honest to God, like, he looks so technically gifted, but then he gets to like the position to cross or shoot, and he picks the right option. It's just always a terrible effort. But honestly, the Southampton side are quite good. Obviously, we know Højbjerg's leaving, but Ralph Hasenhüttl will be staying on despite losing 9-0 earlier this season. So credit to Southampton board for sticking with the manager for once. But it's a really weird end to the season. They've played with a lot of pride to end the year. Like, they're really fighting for something. Like, they like to go up the table. They're in 12th now. I mean, to think that they were relegation fodder at Christmas, that's an incredible turnaround. They're well clear. I mean, they're bloody 15 points off the relegation.
They've got to have some of the best form since the lockdown, haven't they?
Oh, they've been great. And Sheffield United have not been great since lockdown. And I always think Chris Wilder's going to send his team out to like absolutely batter and abuse, but the season's over, and I think it said a lot in his conference where he goes, look, we've overachieved this season. Done a really good job. We've really overachieved. I think the players are just a bit at this point. They needed some time without football, without training, without anything. They need to go.
It sounded like Wilder had maybe turned the intensity dial down from 10 to like a 9.95.
Yeah. It sounds like, and you know, I think they need some fresh blood now, some new players to come in and fight for spots, and the club to invest a little bit more. So I think Southampton will win this. I think Sheffield they need the end of the season, and I think it's going to be 2-1 Southampton.
Yeah, I'm going for a draw. I just think Sheffield United ought to get something out of it. It's rare that they go too many games in a row, you know, losing. They haven't gone on long losing runs this season, and he'll want to get something out of the end of this season, which has been magnificent for them, and it's been a good season for Southampton as well. Yeah. And it'll be very interesting for, you know, to see how Sheffield United get on next season if that second season syndrome kicks in a little bit, with sides kind of knowing a little bit more of what they're about and how to play against them. But let's just hope we see more of Chris Wilder celebrating like this, like he did when Oxford won the playoffs all those years ago against York City. So I'm going for a draw, 1 apiece.
I'm actually changing my prediction. I'm going to 2-2. I'd forgotten how incredibly dreadful Southampton were at home.
We've had, I don't even know, I lost count of how many Premier League games there are in the season, but we've had every single one of them has been predicted. It all comes down to this, and of course it is the main event.
In the battle for 4th place in the Premier League, Leicester City play host to the Red Devils from Manchester United.
Not since the Flint, Michigan Tropics, Thomas, has 4th place seemed so important. And to tell you more about it is the resident expert and Manchester United fan, Thomas Pickering.
What are you talking about, Jab Turkey? This is a huge match. Man United have just limped to a 1-1 draw with West Ham United. West Ham played well. Man United got a draw from a great Greenwood strike. And United are now in the driving seat. They're up to 3rd in the league somehow. They're above Chelsea. They're above Leicester. All they need is a point to guarantee a top 4 finish. They also have the quarterfinals of the European Euro Cup, the UEFA Cup, whatever it's called. The backwater international European thing that they have to do. But that's, they got 2 ways in it. But I think they're going to win here. Leicester City have just really ended the season badly. Post-break has not been great for them. They were resoundingly beaten by Spurs 3-0, which is not a good look on anybody. And I think they're going to lose here. I think United are going to have too much about them, mainly because of one man called Bruno Fernandes. And I think they're going to win this game 2-0.
Yeah, well, Manchester United have been a bit sloppy lately, Tom. I have to say, last 2 or 3 games, they've not been that great. I mean, it's amazing, I would have to say, after that FA Cup defeat. It's almost as if all the pundits have been waiting for Ollie to have a bad result, and they just could not wait to shit all over this Man United side for the first time in weeks. And it wasn't that bad. They weren't awful against Chelsea. They just got done by a good side.
Yeah. At no one point did the commentary team mention how tired the Man United side might be with the amount of games they played recently. No, that had nothing to do with it.
And that very much seems like a little bit like what Manchester United, Chelsea and Leicester are like at the moment. They're almost like 3 sides that have run a marathon and they're just literally falling and stumbling over the line to see who will fall there. It looks like Leicester have blown it. I really just think Man United will be too strong for them. I mean, it seems like the sort of side Man United like to play against as well, a side that's going to come on to them so they can use their pace to get in behind. Pogba, I'm sorry, that was a shocker. I can't not talk about it. But there's a free kick from West Ham, and he saved it. He's just saved. He's literally gone across and saved the ball. It was a terrible, terrible mistake, and they desperately needed Greenwood to bail them out. And otherwise, that point could be crucial when it all comes down to it, because now they don't even need to force the pace against this Leicester side. But I think Man United will nick it as well. I think it will be a 2-1 Manchester United victory.
The rest of the table has shaken out really nicely. Like, outside of 1 and 2, the whole table's been kind of a battle this season.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit like the last 2 seasons, and City have kind of joined in a bit this season, of just everybody else has been ridiculously inconsistent. It'll be really interesting to see if next season, if a side like United or Chelsea or Spurs can find a little bit more consistency to be a bit more to challenge at the top of the table.
Yeah. Someone's got to do it. I think like you look at this Liverpool side now, and it's been a special year for them. I think that's one of the reasons. I know you hate the pundits wanting them to get to 100 points, but I think the pundits want that like exclamation mark to make it a historic season because they were so good.
I get why they have to make it a story. I mean, it's just at the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything.
No, but so they've been really good, but I can't see them doing that again. They have to be perfect for a whole second season, and we've already seen mistakes creeping in here, and it's tough. It's tough to maintain this level of excellence. Like, you saw City this season, you can't do it every year, every season, over and over and over again.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a lot tighter.
It's a difficult thing. I mean, there's the old adage of saying good sides win the league, great sides retain it.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see what they do. We'll see how many players stay. We'll see what players come in. But hopefully, just for the sake of the league, not even as wanting to see Man United do better, hopefully City, United, Chelsea, Arsenal, even to a certain extent, Wolves can all hold form for a while. We can actually get, for the first time in probably 5 or 6 years, an actual title run to happen. At least 2 years ago, at least, when there were 2 teams fighting for it. Because this season, we knew the winner from October onwards, and it has been kind of boring in that respect.
Unless you're a Liverpool fan, and it's been the best year ever.
And on that note, it's time to thank some of you lovely people for liking, commenting, and subscribing to our video. To all of you that like and comment and subscribe, thank you. Also to Robert Allen. West Ham are staying up. Bournemouth and Villa do look doomed. But oh my god, Villa are out of the relegation zone. Chloe Liu, yeah, we also thought West Ham's form might get them relegated. Christopher Smith, thank you for commenting. Grandstand Betters. Go check out Grandstand Betters. They're great.
Check them out.
Ethan Hawkins, yeah, man. I also wanted Bournemouth to win, and it didn't happen, and I'm just sad now. Kip, we would genuinely like to make the quizzes return at some point, but oh my god, poor Ian is exhausted from editing, so there are no quizzes until at least the off season.
If there ever is an off season these days.
It's not allowed. Roberto Hall's really good job with the 1-0 Bournemouth score. It was in fact 1-0, and it was Ings with the goal, so yes. Yeah,
well done. Good stuff.
You, Demas Moha, you thought Chelsea would beat Liverpool. They did well to challenge them at least, but that ended 5-3. Shane O'Donnell, thank you for your predictions as always. 1-1 draw with Brighton. 0-0, we're close enough. Kurt, thank you for your predictions. Robert Allen, you've jumped on my wall twice, and I will have to have you taken out. Ollie Hambling, thank you for joining me in the Brighton Draw Brigade. They will draw. They did draw. Please keep liking, subscribing, following, letting me know if you hate my shout-outs or not. And Ian, is there anything left to say?
Nope.
Cool. Bye.